Green group activities for San Joaquin Memorial High School volleyball. First activity will be dead bugs. Keep the back flat, core engaged, level hips. Start off this way and then begin to march in a supine or lying on back position. Move during this activity very slowly. Imagine lifting the legs with the core muscles and not the thigh muscles. Progress to raising the legs up and moving out slowly, reaching as far out as you can, opposite limb, maintaining a flat back. Progress this activity to straight leg and progress only when mastered. The positions are mastered when a relaxed face, the student is able to go slow, maintain diaphragmatic breathing, and maintain proper mindfulness of posture and position during the activity. Slow mindfulness is key to performing the corrective exercise correctly. Hip hinging is our next activity. To perform the hip hinge, first bend through the hips and maintain a flat back. Imagine reaching the butt back first before bending the knees forward. The knees should not bend much forward. The activity is performed through the hips, therefore the butt will be doing most of the movement. Progress speed when mastered. Student athlete has mastered the movement when able to maintain a relaxed face, diaphragmatic breathing, and mindfulness of their body and awareness in space. When rising back up into the starting position, push into ground using tripod foot to move vertically up.
Okay, good.
Next activity is the BLANCH. The BLANCH corrective exercise is an activity that will help maintain level hips while flexing the hip with a straight leg raised while standing. Fight to slowly raise the leg as high as possible. The slower the perform, better the exercise. The challenge in this exercise is to prevent the low back and hips from tilting. Do not raise the leg higher by bending through the back, and do not tilt the hips backwards to raise the leg higher. The corrective part of this exercise is to train the core muscles to flex the hip and fire with the right timing. Perform this activity before fatigue and before any pain is felt. No pain should be felt during any of these activities. Progress to cross patterning, moving the arms in a cross patterning fashion with the lower extremities or the legs. Make sure the balance is maintained on the down foot. Next activity is a single leg hip hinge. The single leg hip hinge will be performed with first cross patterning and flexing the hip, and then moving into an RDL movement. Maintaining balance is very important, and not allowing the knee to fall inward and collapsing in is very important. Focus on maintaining control during the whole movement and activity. Also take note of one side easier to perform than the other side. It is important to note asymmetries to work on the side that is poorer. Keep the back straight and flat. The goal is to kick the leg back as far as possible, utilizing the glute muscle and not letting the low back hyperextend or bend too far in extension. Balance is also key during this activity. The slower the activity is performed, the better. More repetitions is not necessarily better. Performing the activity with mindfulness and slowly is better. This move can be progressed to move with the leg and arms reaching in opposite directions and focusing again on contracting the glutes to extend the hip. Don't extend the low back to reach the leg further upward. Arms should be reaching far ahead in the opposite direction again, and this will fire the core and improve timing of single leg stability or single leg hip hinge. The down knee will naturally bend, although it would bend after the hip is hinged. When coming back up to the upright position, push the down leg into the ground to rise the hip straight up in a vertical line rather than pushing the hip forward in flexion. The exercise should maintain fully engaged core the whole time. Next activity is a LEGGO squat. The LEGGO squat is going to be performed with one knee lunging down behind. Work on foot grip and make an arch while in the down position to prepare for the lift that will occur. Maintain tripod foot, push into the ground, and lift up. Begin by using the back foot to lower and to rise for assistance. Note the back foot assistance during the video in the beginning, and note the cross patterning at the top of the movement. Progress to touching the knee on the ground first, without the foot touching, and lift the foot up right before rising up to the standing position again. This increases the difficulty and puts more load on the single leg. Always cross pattern arms and legs. Keep back straight during the activity. Hinge through the hips, and the front foot should be driving hard to lift the body straight up vertically. No sway or fall from side to side should be occurring. Hip hinge to begin. Contract the foot, make an arch, push the foot into the ground, lift up, maintain balance for a few seconds, and then alternate sides. An example of a progression would be to land with the knee flat down without the foot touching the ground, and then lifting the foot up right before pushing into the ground and lunging up to the standing position. This can also be progressed by holding a weight out in front, and pushing the weight to the ceiling as well could also be a progression. Next activity is the tripod foot. To gain a better understanding of what the tripod foot is, first understand the 3 points on the bottom of the foot. You have the heel, the ball of the big toe, and the ball of the little toe that make up the tripod 3 areas of balance on the foot. This tripod foot will be referenced throughout these corrective exercises and more to come. Here's an upper closer look of where these 3 points will be when standing upright. Maintain the tripod foot equals more power. Once understood, challenge and train this tripod foot with single leg stance. This will help ensure that it is maintained while playing during sport. Focus on keeping all 3 points on the ground. Next activity is single leg balance. The single leg balance, while training balance, do not hyperextend the knees. Don't rest on the knee joints. Utilize your muscles to maintain balance. Keep a slight bend in the knee to do this. Note if it's easier on the other side. Both sides should be symmetrical, and if one side's worse than the other, the side that is bad should be practiced on more. Always cross pattern the arms and legs. Hold for 10 seconds at a time. Maintaining the tripod foot. Even pressure should be put on each part of the tripod foot. This can be progressed to closing the eyes during the 10 seconds or turning the head from side to side for 10 seconds. Could be the progressions for either side. Raise the leg as high as possible without bending the low back or tilting the hips or losing too much balance.